Welcome back. It's 6:30 a.m. We're into mid-spring, and today you find yourself in the village of Grasmere, located at the very heart of the Lake District National Park. This walk has to be one of the loveliest in all of the Lake District. So if you enjoy quaint cottages, gentle countryside, wildflowers, history and romanticism, you are in for a treat. And where we end up on this walk is really quite somewhere special. So settle in, and I hope this relaxes your mind, soothes your soul and eases your stresses away. William Wordsworth was born in Cumbria on the 7th of April 1770. He became known as one of the Lake Poets, a small group heralding the Romantic Age in English literature. Although Wordsworth left the lakes for many years to study and travel, the lakes never really left his heart. He returned to settle in Grasmere, describing his garden at Dove Cottage as the loveliest spot man hath ever found. He had a profound connection to nature, which is woven throughout his poetry, often depicting the natural world as a teacher and guide for humanity. It's easy to see how the landscape and the people who lived here inspired and shaped his words. As we make our way into the village, you'll notice the prominent church. This is St Oswald's, named after the 7th century King of Northumberland, who is said to have preached on the site it now sits. The porch, the tower and the south wall all date back to the 14th century. It always staggers me to think of the layers of history that are intricately woven into the ground beneath our feet. Here at St Oswald's, they've created this memorial garden and they call it the Wordsworth Daffodil Garden. So of course you'll have to be here in early spring to see the daffodils. In the spring of 1819, it's noted that Wordsworth planted 8 yew trees here in the churchyard. So while this may be his final resting place, his work truly lives on. So where to next? Well, as Gandalf always says, when in doubt, follow your nose, and I can smell them baking at the Gingerbread Shop. Gingerbread is Grasmere's famous export. Victorian cook Sarah Nelson concocted the recipe in 1854 and sold her gingerbread from a tree stump outside her front door. The church cottage remains home to the Gingerbread Shop, and there's usually a queue running outside the door. I'm a little early today, but it is delicious. And this year they'll celebrate their 170th anniversary. It's a mile walk down the small road to the lake. There's much to see along the way. Across the fields is Allan Bank, a Grade 2 listed villa and National Trust property. As it was being built, Wordsworth condemned it as an eyesore, calling it a temple of abomination. His initial objections were later quelled when he moved there with his wife, children and extended family, as well as housing fellow Lake poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge and entertaining writers such as Thomas de Quincey. It was the only house available to rent in Grasmere that would be large enough for them all. Most of us would hardly look on that as a sorry state of affairs, though his sister Dorothy did call the house literally not habitable due to the windy chimneys that would bellow smoke back into the rooms. It's just such a stunning gate. It's a really magical stretch of road through here. All of the flowers are out in the gardens at the moment, literally in the morning when you get dappled light coming through. It really makes it extra magical. It's not every day the lake is this still. Let's have a minute to take it in. This is a really beautiful spot for a swim, and I'm really regretting not bringing my swim stuff, but at least Cam can go in. He really enjoys swimming. We now cross the River Rothy and enter White Moss Wood. I always like to feel rooted in the seasons, and May is a time for bluebells. You can see them stretching their blue carpet across the fell slopes here under Lothrig. This is one of those walks that is short but long. I could spend hours just walking a mile or two, just stopping and looking at everything there is. There's more to explore in this area. I'd recommend taking a loop here of White Moss Woods before heading over to Rydal Caves. And I've also done a video on that, so you can watch that next if you'd like. And you can also head up to Lothrig, that's another beautiful viewpoint, and a Wainwright. For today I'll be heading down to Rydal Water and then across to Rydal Hall, and there's a very pretty spot to read a book. But for now, I think it's time for a coffee and a sandwich before we head on. Did you know almost half the world's bluebells are found in the UK? Each plant takes about 5 to 7 years to flower from seed, a testament to the patience and resilience of nature, reminding us of the enduring beauty that emerges with time. The flip side to that coin is that they also take years to recover if damaged by footfall, so as tempting as it may be to get among them, they're best enjoyed from the path. Being a woodland flower with a whimsical shape, it's no surprise they have been the subject of superstition, with some believing them to be an ingredient used in witches' potions. Fairy folklore is often darker than you might expect. It's said that anyone who wanders into a ring of bluebells will fall under fairy enchantment, and if you hear the ringing of the flower's bell, used by fairies to summon their kin, you'll be visited by a malicious fairy and won't live long after. So that's another reason to keep a little distance. Bluebells are also known as cuckoo's boots, May being the time of year for cuckoos, having migrated from Africa to breed. They don't stay for long though, arriving in April and heading back in late June. We're now in Rydal Hall, and you can come and walk around the estate or sit here in the quiet garden and just watch the sheep and the lambs. I want to take you to go and see the grot, which is a lot nicer than it sounds. The grot dates back to 1668. It was designed as a place to frame Rydal Falls and is one of Britain's earliest examples of a viewing station. Wordsworth was particularly fond of the grot, writing about it in one of his earlier poems, An Evening Walk. You can imagine what a stunning reading room it must have been. Lastly, we conclude our walk just up the road at Rydal Mount. This was Wordsworth's final home. He spent the greater part of his life here until he died in the April of 1850, at the age of 80. The home remains an enduring legacy. Owned by the Wordsworth family, you can visit and listen to his poetry, read by his 4 times great-grandsons. If you'd like me to explore more of the houses and gardens that we walked by today, just let me know. I'd love to come back and actually take you inside some of these historic properties. If you enjoyed this, I'd appreciate it if you could leave the video a like, and also let me know what was your favourite part. My YouTube stats say that hundreds of you are searching for fables and fails, which is lovely, but you don't need to be checking back so much. You can just subscribe to keep a list of your favourite channels, and then if you want to get a notification when the next video goes live, you can click on the bell icon. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, enjoy your adventures and I'll see you soon.